In today's episode of What's Up with Agile, we will have special guests from Crex Capital, which is a startup fintech that we as Agile Masters have been cooperating with since their very creation. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, and welcome to this special episode of What's Up with Agile. Welcome to our podcast. Today we have exciting guests with us sharing exciting stories. So this is Piotr and Grzesiek from Agile Masters, and today joining us are Maciej and Mark from Crex Capital. Guys,
hello from Berlin.
And what is Crex Capital?
Hi there. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Mark, 37 years old, and basically been 12 years in commercial real estate corporate.
Wow.
Up to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Crazy times, man.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Maciej. I'm 40 years young, originally from Krakow, living in Germany for a few years, now in Berlin. And I'm working in the B2B for 14 years now, worked in a startup environment for the last 5-6 years. And I'm responsible for the market and IT at Crex.
And what is Crex Capital?
Now, Crex Capital, we're building a B2B platform for real estate finance, and we are taking a different approach. We're doing it end-to-end, basically helping borrowers and lenders, commercially organized, to find the suitable transactions, evaluate the risks within the transactions, and also helping them execute and sign the loan contracts all in one place. So this means we're actually disrupting a process that takes 6 to 8 months nowadays with traditional tools and traditional partners to cut down to exactly 1 week. So we're very excited to introduce this industry revolution very soon.
Yeah.
Guys, details. What is your platform actually doing?
Yes, well, this platform has a lot of functionalities, a lot of modules. As we're saying end-to-end, we actually mean end-to-end. So what it means is the first gateway to the business, basically, as we call it, the origination module, is matching between commercially organized borrowers and commercially organized lenders. And we're starting at about 2 million euros of ticket size, and we go up to 3-digit million euro.
Yeah, in regards to the credit volumes.
Credit volumes, yes.
2 million is the beginning. Yeah.
So once borrowers and lenders sort of found each other, maybe going into a little bit of the competition, there's some platforms who are trying to digitize that process at the moment, but they stop at this originations point. And we said, look, the fun starts when the analysis starts, because from finding each other to actually executing the transaction, it takes 2 to 6 months on average. So it's a very lengthy process. There's a lot of people involved in the process, internally and externally, and also lots of old school 80s-like systems. So what we said, we need to replace these systems, provide some good systems that enable people to interact more, because a lot of people say, it's people's business.
Yes.
You can't digitize people's business. Not possible. We said, look, we providing tools to actually focus people's energy on each other and providing service rather than typing the same information in 5 different systems, right? So that's why we're focusing on good systems and on good modules. So coming back to borrowers and lenders finding each other. So we start also providing borrowers and lenders with an indicative valuation. That's adhering to all the necessary standards that are necessary to actually get a proper valuation. That means that process takes about 3 to 6 weeks if you go to any particular lender that's going to provide an indicative valuation, and it costs usually 500 to 1,500 euros. So what we do is we provide that on the platform once the project is actually onboarded, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes.
So this is already itself a revolution for this space. So this is the first thing. Second thing is we're doing a risk scoring on the platform, enabling all decision makers to find out their internal rate of return, to see how much impact the actual property has with the financing structure. What are the correlations there? So we're having a risk evaluation system on there, plus also established on the platform an ESG rating, which is sort of paying into the sustainable goals of today's sustainability goals, to be honest. Environmental, S, social, and G, governance.
The whole market and lenders are focusing very strongly on the ESG goals and trying to implement them into their process. So we already have it on board as an element which can be used for analyzing how sustainable the property is.
So having these sort of risk evaluation and indicative valuation tools, having them combined on the platform helps decision makers on one page to have all the relevant information and KPI to make a decision right there. So within a very, very short period of time, it's all big data enabled. We have a lot of APIs that sort of flow into the process to make it future-proof, right? All the systems we find on the market at the moment, especially in relation to commercial real estate finance evaluation, that are very backward looking, and they are sort of super standard for the last 30 years. So we're looking forward with our system approach. And once we have the evaluation, really we're going into the deal execution as well. So we're helping borrowers and lenders actually executing their transaction on our platform with a deal room, which is end-to-end and secured, and it adheres to all the relevant security standards. So you can actually do your transaction on our platform without using email communication, without using traditional Word and PDF files. You can do it all collaboratively and interactively on this platform, on your mobile phone, and you can sort of having all the functionalities you need to interact all on our platform, and providing also, and this is also very cool, to have the term sheet and also the loan documentation implemented within this deal room, so you can actually legally binding do the transaction on our platform, which is an industry first also. So we sort of getting the whole package together to finding the right transaction, actually evaluating all the risks that are associated and opportunities, of course, and then in the end you're executing everything you need on this particular platform. So super proud of that one.
There are even more features, but we will not enlarge.
I think we got a very good overview what you guys do, what problems are you trying to solve. And can you elaborate a little bit about the scale of lenders and borrowers? Because we're not talking about lending a few €100 to buy a TV, right? What sort of money are we talking about here?
Yeah, sure. So let's go a little bit in the history. Basically, the last 10 years, the industry was sort of growing about 10%. Transaction volume, we're just talking about European market. We are 2021 at about 305 billion euros closed transactions. So large scale. In Germany alone, 80 billion euros of closed transactions. And when we're talking about commercial real estate, so professionally organized, it's deals done between 10 million ticket size and 500 million. So single ticket sizes, right? Mm. And the participants are professionally organized, as I said, and it's sort of a, you need to be specialized as alternative lender and bank if you actually lend upon these projects, because there are some specialities to it, especially looking at the properties, the valuation process, the risk analysis process, and the deal execution process as such. So this is about I guess the metrics you need to know, and maybe also talking about the borrowers. Borrowers are professionally organized. They are family offices. They are funds specializing on this. They're institutional investors specializing on real assets, being real estate, and private equity funds as well. And in the last 5 years, you've seen a lot of investors coming into Germany. So it was a ratio between 2011 when I started commercial real estate, it was about 80% domestic and 20% international, and that completely changed during the last years. So we already have 70% international and 30% national at the moment. So this is quite an interesting fact as well.
Many funds, pension funds, started to invest, and large pension funds from Korea, for example, started to invest in real estate in Germany, and this was also pushing the market very hard.
Guys, we are talking the big picture view of the market here and of your idea. Wanted to ask a more detailed question about your product. On which stage are you right now? What is the plan for the going into the market?
Yeah, currently we are onboarding the lenders, the alternative lenders on our platform. So we're preparing to go live this summer. We build up everything we need for the process, for the holistic, for the end-to-end process with the alternative lenders, having already automatized structuring analysis. We have market valuation, mortgage lending value calculation. We prepared a special deal and transaction rooms which are like typically built to be very supportive in a transaction, in a real commercial real estate transaction. And we also implementing tools like the ESG scoring, which is nowadays very important when it comes to sustainable financing.
What's ESG? Like, if you can say.
Yeah, ESG scoring. So we provide the opportunity for both parties implement scoring to see how sustainable the property is, and so lenders can decide based on that fact how they want to go on, if they want how to bonus it if the scoring is positive, or there need to be changes in a very future perspective view that this point and this ESG topic is growing and is getting more important.
Maybe just ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance, which is the three main categories to measure sustainability. And that's basically common goals defined as well. And our scoring system, which is sort of 10 grades, sort of pays directly into questionnaires, not only in environmental, which is sort of quite common in the real estate industry because it's measurable. You have building certificates, and that sort of display the environmental impact of the buildings. But our scoring also considers social and governance issues. And this is very important in our eyes because buildings and real estate industry is such a large industry that impacts upon so many things. So for social, for instance, we have accessibility of buildings. This is a huge impact in terms of barrier-free access to office buildings. These are things that need to be considered when I do a sustainable score on something. And also the governance issue. I set myself goals, but am I able to actually, am I looking to actually implement them? Do I have control mechanisms for this? And do I actually treat my employees well? So we also have, for instance, a Kununu score, which is also impacting upon our rating. So we're very proud to have like a very holistic view on this ESG.
Cool, thanks. Guys, wanted to ask before we go into like the topics related more to the actual agility of creating the good products, but this is also one of the topics related to it. Can we hear from you about your business model? How you are planning actually to earn money on your platform?
Yes, you can. It's an interesting one because I think you're going into a direction where we had, I guess, a bit of a different view when we began, right? So in terms of how we're earning money, it's a very transaction-based business model because you need to do a transaction to actually sort of getting paid as intermediaries and also as the lenders, and in the end, as borrowers getting the benefit from it. So we said, look, let's do a market price approach where we sort of, with our innovations in the process and the tools and technology, we cut costs by 70%. So we cut the market rates by 50%. We're making a profit, and it makes sense for everyone because everyone deems to benefit. But the thing is, our tools and our infrastructure we're building is sort of benefiting borrowers and lenders all the time, right? So we having a software as a service model and this infrastructure, and it's something that's worth it for all parties. It's a value add at any single time with the indicative valuation you can have at any time, which takes 3 to 4 weeks. Usually if you go to an external party costing 500 to 1,500 euros, you're getting that straight away on our platform. It's something that's worth it, right? So we said, look, baseline prescription fee for the borrowers and lenders, but they are basically separated because the benefit for borrowers basically is to get access to suitable lenders, not just lenders. We are saying according to risk strategy and conversion rate, this is our KPIs that are underlying. So for the borrower, getting 5 perfectly suitable lenders on the platform, this is like the starting point to get this prescription fee sort of running. So this is very, very affordable rate. And that's constant. But once the transaction is successfully completed within like 1/3 or 1/10 of the normal time, you also have a success fee element of that fee. So you only have a prescription fee plus a success fee element. And if you turn that around to the lenders, you have a bit higher of a baseline fee because the lender really, really benefits from the infrastructure being much quicker with our tools, having everything at hand to not only find the right transaction, but also evaluate the risks within it and actually executing the transaction. So being able to be so much more efficient, the base fee is a bit higher, but lenders, and we had these conversations while onboarding, they're very, very much eager to use this. And they say, look, we very, very much capable of paying it, and we are willing to pay it, which is even more important in this sense. And in the end, once the transaction is completed, there's still going to be a success fee element, but it's going to be not as high as the borrower's portion, because the borrowers at the moment are paying 85% of the cost usually of this process. So we said, look, you need to sort of balance it out. So this is in short, in as short as possible, let's put it that way, what the business model consists of.
You touched here a very important topic regarding what you said, that it changed during the time that you were actually creating the platform. I wanted also to discuss this topic regarding the functionalities. What is actually the change that you see right now after a year, basically, of building the product with the original plan versus what you have right now?
We've been planning a lot, and there's been so many ideas within the 3 heads of ours to actually conceptualize what we're doing here, because it's basically this disruption sort of entails so many things. And why has nobody else done it before? Because the reverse engineering of what we're doing in terms of analysis first, and then everything else derives from that analysis. This was clear from the beginning, and that's our goal still. And this is the clear vision that shapes that product. But the execution sort of really adapted to, first of all, to what we were capable of sort of executing in a short period of time in terms of functionalities, but also in terms of customer feedback, because we started with that very quickly and showing the product to our potential customers and also customers. Maybe we elaborate on that shortly, but this was super key to shaping the product in a way that still has that vision in it, but has adaptabilities in it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. You have mentioned that it was important for you to show your product to your customer very quickly to get feedback. And generally, the reason we are talking right now in this podcast is that because you have started this startup with agility in mind from the very beginning, from the very get-go. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, agility, and it's a very important topic. And due to our experience from the last years and what we saw in the market, is that we are talking here about a very complex product, and it's a niche market which is very specialized. So we were convinced that having somebody supporting us from the very beginning to collect the ideas, to structurize it. We were all three acting as product managers from the beginning, but we're looking for a way to channel it, to professionalize the way we were building up the product. So we were very happy to work with the Scrum Master from the very beginning to develop the product in a way. It's currently developed very fast the last month due to that fact. And also our CTO, Andre, coming to our company, was also very happy that we already have everything so structured. And this is helping us a lot because the products are complex. The algorithm, the matching, everything needs to be implemented to be understandable. And this is very helpful to have somebody who is sorting these things, sorting our minds kind of together.
Not only kind of, being very direct and structured. And when we talk too much, which happens every now and then, a lot, 80% of the time, then we're getting some clear
but we love
instructions,
feedback.
right?
Yeah, love feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone loves feedback.
Yes, it's very
feedback
important.
Is a gift, I just wanted to say.
Yes, absolutely. Love it.
Guys, connecting these two topics that you just finished, like the agility, but also the change that happened during the last year. What did you actually do during this time to be able to collect the feedback, not only from yourself, but also from the potential customers or users, to change actually your plans?
And this was a great experience in a kind of early stage. So it was like 3-4 months after starting of coding, because product development was quite also before. But we invited analysts from the market, from huge banks we know, to our office. We also did testings virtually to get these people on board who have to work with these tools in the future. And it was very valuable and very good feedback we received, which we implemented into the product in the next steps. And doing this currently all the time, developing a product further.
And also having the feedback basically telling us, the way you structured it here, I sort of get the gist of it, but, to be precise, X, Y, Z. And probably don't use, the occupancy rate, but more the vacancy rate. Small things that sort of come, naturally to us in terms of you put something on the system, but it's not something that you, without questions, understand as a user. And that's something that we probably didn't have in mind starting with the thing, because it's just too much, right? There's so much things we want to put in the system, but in the end, it needs to be natural and intuitive. And that's why this testing was such a success in our eyes, to getting that feedback.
I remember one person saying like, yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for or hoping to have one day, to see everything on one page, automatic, analyzed, structured, having potential lenders, having a liquidity plan created automatically, having the market value calculation automatically. And he's like, wow, on this data, I can already decide or even check if this transaction is capable for our loan. So it was very good feedback.
And nobody said it's complete shite, which is also good, right?
Yes.
Yes. We like that one.
We love feedback.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of such an agile iterative approach is that you actually are able to validate your ideas very quickly and very often. And it often happens that some of those ideas, maybe they're not totally bad, but they are not the best, and you have to adapt. So fail fast is one of the agile principles. Has that happened to you, and how frequently did you discover that you need to adapt to your original plan?
I would say the alternative fronts. Good. So due to market changes and market environment, which is challenging currently due to higher interest rates, banks got restrictive. So as we planned from the beginning to onboard more actively. All kinds of lenders, we were switching to the alternative, where we currently really see a strong push in the market and strong demand, and also a very strong positive feedback from the funds we are currently onboarding that this is a solution they really need. And we know from banks, due to they are very regulatory, have high regulatory burdens, we can implement quite faster our solutions into this market environment.
And probably to add on this in terms of the agile approach, it's just having this structure implemented really helps us to get the goals actually done, right? So this was amazing experience, as you know, a Scrum Master just puts on a little table and saying, look, this is the goal, that's what we need to do. So you're changing the strategy, that means X, Y, Z, and what's the actual outcome of it, and then sort of implementing this. And this is just amazing to see, to use, I said simple tools, but they're not simple tools, but using simple methodologies to help us structure ourselves, right? Help us help ourselves. That was, for me personally, was quite interesting, to move from chaos to actually clear adjustment of the goals. And that was amazing, actually.
I was also saying to force us to do that, which was the best. You know, we were quite very happy about that fact, and so
you mean inspire, no?
Inspired and
yes, use positive language.
Yeah, in a good way.
So, as you said, you've been working, which is very unusual for actually startups to be working with a Scrum Master from the absolute beginning. So could you name some specific examples of things that you, like, you know, from the time perspective, would think would happen differently if you weren't?
Oh my God, that's a lot of things that would have
quite
happened differently.
But nice side story. We are taking part in how do you call that?
Accelerator
program, and the guy who's specializing in pitches was saying that we were the first startup in 1,000 having a Scrum Master on board at this stage. So and you really love that. But as you said, Piotrek, it's not very common. And I would say the product itself would look totally different, and focusing, we wouldn't be that far where we are, right?
Yeah, and the issue also is the tools and mechanism to actually bring the knowledge we gathered over the years and the concepts we gathered with sticky notes on a digital board, basically filling into a sensible product management tool as we're using Jira. And this really helps us to sort of organize sprints, organize the task at hand, and actually translating the tasks into code later on, and making the CTO understand what we're actually talking about. Because we're having these discussions a lot, right? What are you actually talking? What do you mean? And then we're having these weeklies to actually make sure everybody understands what we mean by that. Because if we would have just written it down, as we did in the beginning, obviously, we would have gone in a totally different direction and would have so much time to spend to adjust strategy, right?
I don't want to think about that, what would happen without. And it's also as we have tons of topics and a lot of features, it's so important to have this the days, this catch-ups to see where are we, and is the product we developing working? Is it tested? These steps to follow up and to have somebody, as we have also many business-related topics as well, somebody who's really focusing on that part and even taking us back every time to say, okay, where are we at? And this is a good question, because sometimes due to the topics, it's difficult to say. And so this is very helpful.
Also, learnings from the previous experience from our Scrum Master as well, which is basically common mistakes that are made that probably 80% we would have made without having that mentioned to us. So also, participating in the whole pool of experience, and also sort of listening and trying to sort of adhere by them. So this was also super helpful.
Yeah, that is really fascinating, because I also see the same mistakes being made over and over and over again, despite other companies doing them 1,000 times before. People just never seem to learn and never seem to care. And so that's why I think having some structure, someone share this experience with you early on, is actually making a big difference. All right,
Absolutely.
Grzesiek, on to next questions.
Actually, it's in the same area of what we are discussing, because guys, what I know, you previously worked mostly on the dark side of the force, on the business level, the mystical business stuff that is bringing mostly requirements to the development. And now you are working very closely with development, from what we are hearing here. Guys, your experience, how you feel right now in this role, in actually basically working in software development directly?
Okay, so dark side, that's quite interesting, because I think the business related issues, they matter a lot if you translate them the correct way, right? And we are coming from a world that's corporates and defining problems or challenges, and then getting results. But in the end, having been in a small prop tech team as we are, or real estate fintech team to be quite precise, it's quite interesting to see how it impacts on our daily behavior, because we are much more thinking in terms of how do we need to define the challenges in order to sort of get a good user story to it, define the tickets, and then sort of putting it in the right system straight away, rather than making notes on our Outlook and then sort of telling somebody that's the challenge, right? So in terms of thinking more in that product development IT world, sort of helps me personally to structure myself much more, and thinking in terms of the end user, what we usually just did with the customers, right? Very importantly for the customers, but also in terms of how we're gonna build the product. That was one of my main motivations, building something that's really a benefit to everybody, but somebody needs to build this, so I need to sort of focus on that as well. So that was a very personal finding for myself.
Yeah, it was, I left the path a little bit earlier than Mark, and was working also for a few startups in the last years. But that way we are working at Crex is, for me, very unique, and it's like I'm very, very happy with that, because we're so close to the product. We have a very good team, have a very open and straight communication. What was one of the main things I wanted to have, because I believe only then you're capable of developing something unique. And so being so close to the product, being so close to the product development, to Andre, our CTO, to our Scrum Master, who are right into the product every time, bringing in their own ideas. So what we are doing is like everybody can influence this product and doing it, and that's why we have a very strong development, but also a great product, which is having all these ideas and opportunities from the, especially from the technology point of view, which it could have. Right.
Mark, you mentioned the challenges that you are focusing right now on, different challenges than before. Like asking very directly, what are the biggest challenges for you guys right now?
Yeah, it's my weight. I need to work out more. No, but there's a lot of that's. Thanks for.
I could be worse.
Thanks for yes.
No. I was just waving that I have the same.
No, it's truly interesting, because when we started our endeavor last year, right? The market was different, as Maciej already mentioned. Not only in terms of borrowers and lenders and transaction market, as it's rising interest rate is meaning that 65-70% of the lenders out there, being banks, are sort of more cautious, opening up opportunities for us, which is the alternative lenders. But also the VC investment and the investor side for our startup, which sort of the SVB collapse in February, March, I think it was, which sort of impacted heavily on the risk strategies of the venture capital funds, resulting in a shift of paradigms for investment, which means basically being much more cautious and actually going back and looking at their portfolios, which is not really beneficial if you are a startup in terms of going into a raising stage, right? So in terms of that, usually funds looking even more closely, and pre-seed is the new seed, meaning in pre-seed rounds now you need to have regular you need to be post-revenue, and you need to have a clear revenue stack, which sort of I still don't quite understand that, but I don't have to understand everything. The thing is, we have both sides sort of having arisen as challenges, but we said, look, you need to focus on the product and even be better with the product to get even better revenue and a better basis for our business model, even quicker. So that's why we go into market next month with our first functionalities, and we are very proud that this is working, and this is due to the challenges, I say, because otherwise we would have taken even more time to even more refine everything and be more holistic, but also in terms of the agile approach, go to the customers and get their feedback, and you're going to market and get even more feedback. This is what we're looking forward to, even though it's going to be lots of feedback. We need to filter down to the core of essence, but in the end, I think it helped us, first of all, opening the opportunities, and second of all, speeding up everything and getting ready to go in the market.
All right, thank you very much. I have a final question. It's a tough one, so try to be honest if possible. So having your previous experiences in different companies in the corporate world, and then Maciej said he also had the experience in different startups before, and now having this experience in Crex Capital, working with a Scrum Master and cooperating with Agile Masters from the get-go. Let's talk about business value. Would you say this is money well spent? What's the return on investment here?
With our Scrum Master?
Yeah.
Every single cent, I would say. We cannot say that every Scrum Master in the market is a great one.
Of course.
But in our case, I mean, everything we build and what we're planning and what we will do is also based on that approach that we have worked on in this quality from the very beginning. And so, yes, absolutely. It's worth every penny in that case.
Yeah, I'd probably add we wouldn't be here where we are now. So we wouldn't be anywhere close to where we are with the product, and also with in terms of working that closely with the development, and we wouldn't know how to be honest, coming, and this makes it so much more worth than I would have ever thought in the beginning. As coming out of banks doesn't mean that I never heard of a Scrum Master, but I didn't really know how much impact a Scrum Master can have. And I believe every bank should have a Scrum Master to just focus on the real stuff and not being focused with themselves all the time.
Especially that many banks, or most of them, are working with software houses, right? And the connection between the bank and the software house would be a great place for Scrum Master, for example. But I'm not sure if this is so usual in the banking market. I wouldn't assume.
No, I mean, we've had interesting conversations with CEOs of banks here at Crex Capital as well. And whenever we mention the Scrum Master, some of them look at us as if there's a question mark within their gaze, I'd say. So we're promoting the idea of Scrum Master every single time. So you can be assured of that.
I would say that the agile transformation in banks is actually quite common, yeah? But the good Agile transformation, not that much.
Yeah, it's common by name, not common by actually happening. All right, I think that's it. I think we can wrap it up. Thank you very much, guys. I'm looking forward to your product achieving great success. We're all cheering for you. Any closing words for our viewers before we wrap it up?
Use Scrum Masters. It's really good. No, I mean really. Thank you for the interview, because it sort of it's so important for us to bring this product to market, because it was coming from heart, right? We sat together, we thought a long time about this, and we wanting to translate good ideas into the market and disrupt the market. And it's only possible if you build a unit with business and IT, and you are basically the knot between this. You are tying these two worlds together to make this product together with the business and development team. So thank you for your work, and thanks for the time here.
Yeah,
thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely. The experience we made with the Scrum Master, and I was always kind of critical in advisories at all, but in that case, I have to say what I learned and the way how to move things, to develop things, also changed with the experience of of working together with the Scrum Master. So thanks, guys. Keep on going, pushing these topics. We will do it also, and hope to see you soon. And thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.